Good evening, good evening, good evening to all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you with my Wisdom Walk Talk episode for July 2026. And this is one that I'm so grateful for to be able to share information, wisdom, and insights with you. So, without further ado, as always, I would like to begin as I always do, by honoring the ancestors. And I start off with my teachers, Nelly Doma and Sobonfu Some from Burkina Faso, land of the proud ancestors. And I invite you to call out and remember those ancestors that were very meaningful to you, very meaningful to you. And I want to also include tonight my Uncle Kenneth. Today would have been his birthday. This is his heavenly birthday. And yeah, I'm invoking the energy and the presence of my dear Uncle Kenneth. So here we go. Thank you for joining me in this invocation. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is. May the ancestors hear our prayers. Ancestors, 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 we call out to you in the start of the last half of 2026. And thank you for guiding us safely through our personal and collective challenges during this momentous water year. Thank you for always granting us access to our higher timeline, where we know that unconditional love is the ultimate reward for our self mastery, and that happy endings are our birthright, which we can learn to experience daily. As we continue to navigate the unknown of 2026, please give us easy access to the wisdom we gained last year and enable us to use this wisdom as we enter a whole new chapter on our never ending journey of self mastery. Enable us to become peaceful citizens and stewards of this new earth, daring greatly to live out our new narratives and knowing that these are divinely scripted for ourselves and for our world. And most importantly, ancestors, please deliver this directly to our God. Thank you for continuing to enable us to move forth from the dark ages of modernity by placing our heads below our hearts, valuing people over profits, and always, always choosing love over fear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I say, Amen, Ashe Hoasad, Chinka Bismillah, so it is. Yes. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Wisdom Walk Talk here on my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk to Self Mastery. 2026 marks our entry into July 2026. Marks our entry into the final half of the year, and it is the second fire month within this final water year of this decade. Also, this month, right now, we are experiencing a rare, harmonious cosmic configuration that involves Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter, and it's called the Barboat Basket. This heavenly message, last formed at the start of the Renaissance in the late 1400s into the 1500s, it reminds us that we are living through a time of extraordinary collective change and transition. New, previously unimaginable possibilities for humanity are opening up and becoming available. Yes, wondrous things are here and more are coming. So, beginning in July and through into December, my monthly Wisdom Walk Talks will cycle back through our 5 collective commitments to reinforce our annual theme of having happy endings. Tonight, I'm going to dive a little deeper into commitment number 2, which is honor the golden rule. And I'll provide information, insights, and wisdom on the echo versus the ego state of mind. Yes. And I want to thank you for tuning in to expand your awareness and self mastery skills for navigating the challenging energies of 2026. Because challenging, they are. They ain't no joke. They ain't no joke. Right now, here in the Midwest, we are getting another very powerful message from a greater order and direction, which is because of the Canadian and Minnesotan fires. And it's bringing a message about, because it's fire, great transformation, great transformation. But I also know it's a message to tell us, look, you can't ignore these earth changes. You need to accept them and begin to strategize and plan how to respond so that you don't have to react to them, and to keep ourselves in as calm and peaceful a state as we possibly can. And of course, praying for people who are in the direct line of fire, literally, and who are losing home and losing possessions and that kind of thing. So I send up prayers to all the people who are in the line of fire. And of course, this is just one of several natural disasters that are going on around our planet. So, yeah, we're in a very, very transformative time. So, we are going to talk about this second commitment of the Golden Rule. Here's my overview for you tonight. I am going to review, of course, the annual theme and honor the Golden Rule. Then I'll define ego versus echo state of mind. And then I will provide you with some contemplative questions for accessing the echo state of mind. So this year, the annual theme is having happy endings, which I believe is so important. We've got to shift up out of believing that life is about struggling and suffering. We've got to shift up the belief that happy endings only happen every now and then, only to certain people, only for certain things. No, we've got to raise our consciousness and realize that we can have happy endings daily and begin to learn how to remove and transform whatever is blocking us from that belief system. And so the 5 collective commitments that I've shared with you during the first half of this year were honor vulnerability, honor golden rule, honor grief and praise, honor the higher timeline, and honor right relations. Yeah. And so this is what we are working with. And I encouraged you to use them to carve out your personal compass for navigating 2026. The reason I use honor is the metaphysical field in which dignity, truth, and purpose can coexist without distortion. Isn't that just delicious? The idea of honoring as an action is to recognize, respect, or dignify someone or something. Let me just take a sip of water here. Okay. It's the environment needed for souls to grow and communities to evolve, not by force, but by resonance. So you can see honor is really, really quite auspicious and important for me to be using in association with these commitments. So tonight we're going to talk about honoring the golden rule. And it is one that can be very, very challenging for everybody. Well, hello, Emily SP722. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for letting me know you're here. Appreciate it. Yeah, honoring the golden rule, it can be a pretty important challenge. but we really need to be doing this. Just imagine if everybody on this planet honored the golden rule, honored, I'm going to treat others and I'm going to respond to others in the way I would want them to treat me and respond to me. Yeah, just imagine that. There'd be no war. There'd be no reason to be fighting. Yeah. Or if it did break out, it would end very quickly because people would realize, wait a minute, I don't want to be harming anybody. That's not okay. That karma is going to come back on me, you know. People would really get it. Yeah. So that's why it's so important we talk about this. This is an aspiration, okay? A collective aspiration to honor this. So I've been talking about what would prevent us from honoring this? Why would we not do it? And so that's why in the last one I talked about self love, because the golden rule is not moral instruction, it's soul behavior. When I honor you, I honor myself. When I harm you, I create a disturbance in the field I also inhabit. So having happy endings requires self love. And tonight I am going to talk about echo versus ego state of mind and break that down for you. But my quote for tonight comes from the great Pema Chodron. She's a Tibetan Buddhist nun, a prolific author and teacher. And she says, ego seeks to divide and separate. Spirit seeks to unify and heal. And then from an unknown person, I pulled this quote: awe is the moment when ego surrenders to wonder. And we can call echo state of mind that wonder. Yeah, wondrous things coming. All right, so let me begin the breakdown for you. The ego state of mind. And this information is coming from Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The New Earth, and who I got the term the pain body from. So he's done some really good work in helping us raise our consciousness and better understand how to master ourselves. So the ego state of mind has a purpose. It is designed to support our growth and development away from dependency and codependency, towards living and relating independently and ultimately interdependently. Yes. So you can see the ego, it starts, of course, when we're born. And we're dependent upon our parents. We become codependent in our relationships, but we're supposed to grow into young adults and adults, learning how to live and relate independently and ultimately interdependently, which basically means we don't give our power over to anybody. We stay in our personal sovereignty in relationship. And yet, somehow, we get stuck in the experience of vacant self esteem, comparison, judgment, and separation from humanity. We fear focus more on what's different in order to know ourselves rather than what it is that is common to and for all humans. Like, we all are affected by global change. This object referral syndrome versus self referral keeps us from self mastery, unconditionally loving ourselves, and able to truly honor and practice the golden rule. Yeah. So when you're in an ego state of mind, it's all about you. It's like you're in survival mode. You're not able to consider other people or realize that we're all in the same boat. Yeah. So in the ego state of mind, it really is a great challenge to practice the golden rule. So what state of mind should we be in? And this is where we get into echo. So echo is my acronym for engaging cosmic opportunities. It is a developmental state of mind that includes the ego, but goes beyond its limitations. Echo's state of mind is accessed through self-love, self-reliance, and trust in one's intuition. Echo is birthed through claiming your sacred contract, your belief that you have a higher purpose in life than just surviving to pay taxes, grow old and sick, and die. The echo state of mind is self actualization, mastery of self, informed by spiritual and emotional intelligence. Yeah, just chew on that for a moment. Yeah, really good stuff. It's deep. For some of you, the vocabulary may be a little off-putting. That's okay. That's why I put this stuff into a video, because you can play it over and over and over again and read it. You can read it and listen over and over again. Yeah. Because we've all had the experience of echo. Yeah, we've all had the experience. We have known it. We may not have had a vocabulary for it. Oh, but we have had it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm going to give you now a radical example of someone who accessed their echo to perform forgiveness in a way that many people still can't understand. Yeah. Yeah. Daphne said, "Oh man, I just missed that. Don't worry, it'll be here for you to play back. Don't worry." So it was back in 2018 that Botham Jean was sitting up in his apartment, eating snack, watching some television, and a off-duty police officer comes through the door thinking she's going into her home, and she panics and she shoots him thinking that he is a burglar. And her name is Amber Geiger. She gets convicted of murdering Botham. And at the end of the trial, after the verdict was turned in by the jury and they had left the courtroom, Brant Jean, his brother, 18 years old at the time, asked the judge if he could hug Amber after he says to her, "I want the best for you because I know that's exactly what Botham would want for you. Give your life to Christ, and I think giving your life to Christ is the best thing Botham would want for you." And this picture went viral because it's impossible even for some people to believe. How could you have compassion for, how could you forgive someone who killed your brother in such a senseless and tragic way? But Brant Jean knew how to access his engaging cosmic opportunities. His father happened to be a minister in the island of St. Lucia. That's where they came from. And obviously, he got raised understanding what forgiveness really is. Forgiveness as letting go of carrying somebody else's pain. And also, he's doing a meritorious deed by treating this woman like she's a human being. Yeah. I don't think he woke up that morning and he said, "I'm going to go and hug this woman." I don't think that's how it works. I think he got into that courtroom and the cosmic opportunity opened up. And he knew that he had to do forgiveness, because this is what has kept him from being psychologically out of balance. He did not stay in revenge mode. He didn't stay in shame, blame, and judgment. He clearly understood that, this is somebody who was, for a moment, out of her mind, maybe the pressures of the job or pressures of whatever. But she was totally, totally out of her mind and didn't know where she was or what was going on, and killed his brother. So I share this with you because, as I said, it is really, really very radical and powerful example. Yeah, forgiveness as a way of not holding other people's pain. Yeah, yeah, just so powerful. And this came at a time when Black men were being shot by police or by non-Black people, when they are just minding their own business, doing whatever they want to do, in their home, sleeping in their bed, and they were getting killed. And so for him to do that really was very disruptive, because people were like, we want justice. We don't want these people doing this. How could you treat them like they're human? But again, he was in that higher timeline, that higher state of mind, and he trusted it. He was listening to his intuition. It's like, I need to do this. And he was honoring his brother because he knew his brother was also a higher timeline person. And he says, I know this is what my brother would want. Yeah. And to also tell her, maybe you turn to Christ, it's like trying to help her. You're going to jail for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Maybe it's time for you to do your work and master yourself, get yourself together so you don't be killing nobody else, is basically what he was saying. Yeah. So that's again, the extreme example. But I wanted to give you that example to say that for us to get into our echo, hopefully it doesn't have to be based on a tragedy. Hopefully it is going to be us recognizing the difference between when I'm in an ego state of mind that is keeping me limited and fear-based, like she was. She was totally in her ego when she pulled that gun. She was only thinking about herself. Um, or when I'm in my echo. Okay. So I'm going to share with you some information I pulled from Eckhart Tolle, and then I transcribed my definition and understanding of the echo state of mind along with it. So here are core concepts from Eckhart Tolle, and I'll give you first the ego one, and then I'll give you the echo. So the first core concept he gives is identification with form, and I say versus identification with higher purpose. The ego cannot survive without identifying with something outside itself. It derives its sense of I from things like your job, wealth, physical appearance, education, or even your opinions and beliefs. When you lose one of these external anchors, such as losing a job or an argument, the ego experiences this as a literal loss of self, leading to psychological suffering. And we all who have worked and lost a job know what that experience is like. Yeah. Now, the echo, engaging cosmic opportunities state of mind, is tethered to the metaphysical and that which is eternal, not temporal. It expands the ego's sense of I to include being in alignment with a will greater than its own. When you are in the echo state of mind and you experience loss, you grieve and accept the loss and open to receiving something new or something more. You don't take the loss personally. So you are able to choose not to suffer. Yeah. Next one, core concept. the unobserved mind versus the observed mind. According to Tolle, the ego is simply the mind operating in an unobserved state. It is an automatic conditioned mechanism shaped by your upbringing, culture, and past experiences. When you mistake the continuous stream of thinking for who you are operating entirely from the egoic mind. Yeah. Now, the echo mind operates in a committed, observing state. It knows the difference between past, fear based conditioned beliefs and being in a present state of flow. The echo surrenders to not knowing and accepts this as an essential posture for experiencing outcomes aligned with your truth, not that of someone else. When your stream of thinking is unattached to who you are and expected outcomes, you are truly operating entirely from the echoic mind. Yeah, absolutely. Number 3, core concept, the need for the other versus reliance on authentic self. The ego relies on contrast and boundaries to maintain its identity. It constantly needs to distinguish me from you and frequently seeks to feel superior to others in order to validate itself. This need for comparison and conflict often manifests as complaining, resentment, or feeling that something vital is missing in life. Now, the echo, engaging cosmic opportunity state of mind, identify rest upon authenticity, uniqueness, and love-centered thoughts and behavior. And I apologize, I spelled that wrong. It should be the echo identity. I put identify. Its identity rests upon authenticity, uniqueness, and love-centered thoughts and behaviors. It doesn't need to separate from humanity because it trusts the power of unity consciousness and embraces diversity as a cosmic gift. Isn't that lovely? It honors functional and independent community building and avoids codependent, dysfunctional groupings. Validation of self is experienced by validating and connecting with the heart and souls of others. Yeah. And then this last core concept, entanglement with time versus flowing with time. The ego is intimately bound to the past and the future. It feeds on past regrets and future anxieties, effectively cutting you off from the power of the present moment. The echo is intimately in flow with the present. It acknowledges the past and future, but doesn't give either one power over what is happening right now. The echo state of mind has surrendered and opened, the echo state of mind, it should say, knows how to surrender and open to the unknown because it trusts a greater order and direction more than the lower timeline of reality. Wow. Okay, let me give you some personal storytelling to help with this. Okay. Yeah. Because this is deep. This is really deep. I'll first start with me and then I have one from Miss Carmen Ray. So when I was knocked down by spirit here in where I live in the center of Wisconsin, a place I never thought I would return back to because I was done with sub-zero weather. I'm done with winter. I want to be in Southern California, right? And so it took me getting knocked off my feet and put into a very exhausted state. I had no energy. And also, I had to accept that I had a medical challenge. Yeah. So this began to move me out of my egoic knowing I need to be in the sun, I need to be near Hollywood, I need to live lavishly, and I need to be working in the way that I've always worked, and yeah, and making more money than I ever had, right? That's the ego. And again, because I was in a bound state, I couldn't move around and do anything really. I started to get still and have to listen to, okay, what is really happening now? I had to let go of what I had done and been in the past. And I also had to stop worrying about what the future was going to hold. I had to really sync up into my current state and prioritize what's important. When you can't move and you are exhausted and tired and don't know what's going on, right? That's got to be your priority. And that's what I got. I have to be present. I have to accept that I'm not well. And so I've got to do things to get myself well. And I didn't have a plan to get into this apartment. I simply opened myself up to the cosmic opportunities and my intuition. Yeah. I drove, I was driven past this building. I couldn't drive. I was driven past this building at the end of the first month of being laid up. And something just nudged me like, oh, and I asked my friend, is that just an office building now or do they have residences? Oh, no, they have residences now. Really? And then my friend said, you want to go see? I was like, okay. And my ego self is saying, oh, I can't afford this. I can't, there's probably not going to be anybody in the office, all of that, right? Well, the opposite became true. There was a wonderful person in the office who very quickly assured me I could afford it and showed me different apartments, including the one I'm in. And within 4 weeks, I was in my own place. Yes, back in Wisconsin, but very much opened up to learning, okay, what is this really about? And I can tell you that since that time, 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, I am much healthier, wiser, and even happier than I was 2 years ago because I am back in my own place and I have all of my treasures around me, especially, as you know, my baby grand piano. Yeah, which was another echo moment. I couldn't have figured that out. All I knew is that, yeah, I've got enough space. It would be nice to have a piano. And I just wanted a little small spinet. But I mentioned this to a friend who was wanting to help me get a table and chair. And she said, I don't know about pianos, but I'll look. I didn't even know Facebook had a marketplace. But within, I don't know, like a half an hour or less, she was sending me a picture of what became my piano. So this is an example of how when we let go of what we know, when we let go of our fear, when we let go of the past and we say, I've got to focus on what's in front of me right now, that's going up into that echo state of mind. And that's when the impossible can happen for you. Yeah. Because if you use your ego state, which is all about what I know, what I believe, what I think, you'll be limited. I would never have gotten into this apartment if I was in an ego state. Because, like, why would I want to live in some 100-year-old former apartment building and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, make up all kinds of things about why I shouldn't be here. Yeah. So the story I want to share with you about Miss Carmen Ray, um, and she's the owner of the Be Well magazine and organization, has to also do with a living space, something that she's wanted her own living space for several years. And she's had, over the years, great challenges with keeping a place. She's had to move around. Um, she also, like me, had left out of Milwaukee, trying to get into the sun, trying to get healthy. So anyway, she was at a point just 2 weeks ago of believing that, okay, it'll take me another year, take me to 2027, the fall of 2027, before I can get my own apartment. And in this new area that she's in, and she is in sun. She ain't back in Wisconsin like me. She's still in some sun. But she still was like, in her ego state, oh, there's no way I can get my own apartment yet. I got credit stuff to clear up. Will I have enough money? All of that, right? But then something in her was really opening up because she hears that someone has furniture from an Airbnb that they're shutting down. And it clicks with her, oh, I need furniture. But even though I'm not going to move until next year, maybe I could get it into some storage. So she reaches out and talks to the person. Come to find out, the person was like, oh, I wouldn't charge you any money for this. I just want to get this closed up and move on to something different. So then now there she is. She's got furniture and she starts to think, well, maybe I could get a place now. And then another cosmic opportunity. She goes to lunch with somebody that she just met, and they start talking about this community that she had visited and really liked. And the woman starts telling her about the community and starts telling her about this apartment complex. Well, she trusts her intuition. She goes online, looks at the place, is like, this could work. And against all rational thinking, she applies. And guess what? They come back and tell her, yes, yes, we have a couple of apartments that can fit into your budget. And she chooses a 1 bedroom on a first floor. They give her all kinds of move-in discounts. You know how that works because they want to keep their places, occupied. Um, and they even give her an IKEA kitchen island as part of the move-in, right? Well, this Thursday coming up, she's moving into her new home. Yeah, yeah. And I just love that story because, again, it is another great example of getting into the echo state of mind, engaging cosmic opportunities, because the cosmic opportunities aren't ones that we create. Okay. They're ones that are presented to us. And our job is to have the courage to take the risk. That's what our job is. Yeah, to take the risk. Absolutely. And that's what, again, that 18-year-old Jean did. He took a risk. Like, let me go hug her. She might have been like that, or whatever. She might not have wanted to hug him or whatever. But he took that risk so that he could get freed up. And so, again, let me give you the summary about the difference between the ego state and the echo state. Oh no, those are the contemplated questions. We're not ready for that almost. But here's a summary. So Eckhart Tolle defines the ego as a false sense of identity built on unobserved thoughts, mental images, and attachments to external forms like possessions, social status, and past history. It is a constant, restless voice in your head that survives through judgment, comparison, and conflict. Echo is an authentic sense of identity built on observed thoughts, with intuitive awareness, and commitment to an internal, unique, higher purpose aligned with a greater order and direction. It is a quiet, loving voice from your heart that gently encourages non judgment, compassion, and peacefulness. Yes. Truth Freeman is raising up those hands and giving a heart. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So as you can see, again, yes, we all have an ego, but if we're going to get to our happy endings, if we're going to be able to really honor doing unto others what we would want done unto us, we're going to have to really practice and intend to get up into engaging cosmic opportunities state of mind. Yes. Going to have to really move ourselves up the ladder into the higher timeline, into believing that we are here for a purpose, that we have a sacred contract, that we're not here to fail and suffer and struggle and be unhappy all the time. I did a video about that, right? The purpose of unhappy endings when I talked about grief and praise. Yeah. So these aren't states we need to stay in. We need to get into that higher state. So now here are some contemplative questions for you about to help you with accessing the echo state of mind. Number one, which state of mind do you find yourself living in most of the time? I was going to put in there why, but just even acknowledging the frequency of egoic mind versus echoic mind, I think is a good exercise. Yeah. And take your time with it. Take your time with it. Give yourself examples too of when you're in the ego state versus the echoic state. Number two, remember an experience when you were able to access your echo state and what were the outcomes? Yes. And it always has to do with taking a risk, stepping out on faith, and saying no to the lower timeline reality that you've always been subjected to. It really is about dreaming a little bigger, darling. Yes. And then number three, what are three practical things you can do to access your echo more frequently? Yeah. And I'll tell you a really important one, and it's an exercise I give to everybody who does work with me one on one. It's about observing your thoughts and your mind. And a quick exercise for that, I tell people do it at least once a day, but if you can do it 3 times a day, it'd be even better. But you stop, you pause, you take a breath, you can close your eyes, get still, and ask yourself, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And what am I believing about myself right now? Yeah. And when you become aware of the negativity, your job is to flip it into something positive. Yeah. And that is going up into the echo state. That's going into the higher timeline. Yeah. It's way cool. So we have come to the end of this talk. And as always, I want to give you a quote from my dear departed, but never gone. She's a great ancestor for me, Ms. Sarah. And Miss Sarah says, a time emerges when we realize it is more painful to stay closed than to open freely to life's flowering. Isn't that just beautiful? Thank you so much, Mama Sarah. Yes, yes, yes. And so, as always, I want to do a shout out to my regular listeners and watchers and viewers, and all those of you who have wisdom walk with me and you know who you are, to my family here in the Midwest, and my family on the East Coast, and my family in California, to my spiritual kin and my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and those who may be listening and watching for the first time. I want to say thank you. Big thank you. I couldn't do this without you and your willingness to be a wisdom walker, to take on the great challenge, but the most rewarding challenge of self mastery. And I am so grateful to be of service to you in this way. And again, I just thank you for your commitment to self mastery and to, yes, practicing and honoring the golden rule. We must do that. Yes. Now, let me give you a reminder of what I have upcoming. And next week is will be my last live stream in July. And that's going to be the astrology for self-mastery for the 15th to the 31st of July. I'll do that next Sunday. There's going to be a lot of potent information in there. I probably am going to talk the Barbo basket some more. I'm waiting for one of my astrologers to drop her interpretation, but I will be able to bring that to you by next week. She'll definitely have it out by next week. And just for those of you who are very empathic and aware, just know the Barbo basket energy, it started on the 15th and it will run until the 25th. So if you're feeling a lot of stuff and you're feeling a lot of energies, we got solar flares going on too, and asteroid showers. It's a lot. So don't think that you're crazy. If you feel more tired or litless for a reason, all of that, just know that there's big energy going on out there. Thank you, Daphne. Big energy. Oh, thank you, Emily. Thank you. So sweet. Absolutely. And as always, my quick promos from my dear friends, Queen Reverend Adara, Heart for Healing Service, every first and third Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Go to her website, spiritismylife.com, click on events, and experience this wonderful, wonderful light being who really takes you to a higher timeline. She's amazing. And then Juanita and Amy, their wonderful book, The Inner Ground Railroad, a 40-day journey to remembering soul and spirit, which is a wonderful application of the Dagra medicine wheel, available on Amazon, Kindle, Walmart, Ace Books, and other online booksellers. Yes. And of course, a reminder about my book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. And yes, the second one is going to be birthed. I am taking my time. I am listening. So just to know that I haven't forgotten that. Hey, Lisa, one of my spiritual shamanic kin. Incredible water person. This is like all the water people. This is y'all's year. This is your year. Yes. Spirit is bringing you forward. So, last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Now, have a healthy and happy and peaceful and safe water week, which we're in, becoming peaceful by getting and reconciling any negative feelings by focusing on what is positive in your life right now. Now, continue to strengthen your immune system, protect your nervous system by praying for others and not taking on their pain. And most importantly, my darlings, as always, please, please, please remember that you are not disposable. Why is that? It is because you are divine. Good Love you too, Lisa. You're so welcome, Daphne. You're so welcome, True.